Hello everybody and welcome along to Formula Sprint 2. It's the start of the 2 weeks where we are at Silverstone for GPVWC, of course starting with Formula Sprint 2, and I can tell you qualifying is just about to get underway around the circuit that birthed Formula 1 in many ways. Of course, the first ever Grand Prix being held here in the 50s, the first championship Grand Prix, I should say. And of course, holds a lot of significance in GPVWC as well. And Silverstone, one of the great historic tracks. I am Tom Dillon. Alongside me this evening is Menno Klont. And Menno, it's so far been a pretty incredible season. Of course, last time out we saw that incredible double win from Reuven Machede. And what are we expecting this evening?
Well, I think decent points from Reuven again, because he seems to be on it. But I think because this is, I think, a home track for a lot of drivers, I think maybe some put in some extra effort and maybe they've got something extra at their home track. I'm not sure how that goes. But I think if you grew up in Great Britain and yeah, then you always know Silverstone is your home track. So I think in all those years, I think a lot of those drivers did a lot of laps on the track, and maybe that will pay out in this night. We shall see. But I think it will be very close, like always. So we shall see how many drivers will have. I think within the leading seconds. So yeah, but I think my top pick for doing well are of course the top 3 in the championship. Those are Ruben Mercedes, Luke Mitchell, and Jack Mayer.
And I'm actually just having a few issues getting up the race view live timing, so I can't tell you much about the session. However, I'll just soldier on, and been having some internet issues tonight, which is never the most helpful. But you see the sparks coming out of the back of this particular car, and Jack Mayer, and a new addition to R Factor 2, and 13 minutes to go in the qualifying session. And well, Jack will be looking to pick up what will be a home win, of course. We've got a lot of drivers in this field that are British, and in fact I haven't counted them up, but just looking through the FS2 drivers standings, all 49 people who have raced so far, I'd go out on a limb and say we've actually got the largest British contingent here out of any other nation in the world represented in FS2.
I think that's correct. Yeah, I think a lot of people from England or from Great Britain are in here and are active in sim racing. I think the Netherlands and I think Germany are also up there, and yeah, you've got some other nations who are represented, like let's say Italy and some other countries. Now I forget a lot. I think we've got a few French people, so yeah, it's quite international, and that makes it, I think, very, very interesting.
So as Jack heads through Luffield, he loses the car almost, and it's very, very squirrely heading through Luffield, and well, he took just about the right racing line in the end, but it wasn't the most convincing performance there from Jack Mayer. And wonder what happened there. Maybe it was something to do with tyres overheating. He seems pretty safe and stable heading through Copse and then down into Magnus and Beckett's. And I wonder how he's going to take this corner. It might be flat first through the first 2 and then start to break down to 5th gear. Flick it to 4th for the second right-hander and then just get the car just about turned in again. Jack Mayer heading down the second straight here at Silverstone up into Stowe. And I can tell you that second sector was not enough to be fastest. Ruben Mercedes, in fact, Jack West went fast. He was just a couple tenths off, probably because of that slide, was Jack Mayer. Here's Jack Nichols, Jack West even, and in Jack Nichols'
Yeah.
car. But he's one of the Jacks for King's Racing, and no Jack Nichols this weekend, clearly.
Yeah, maybe something to do with real-life commitments. Let's see what the first lap times are. I think now we will see a lot of times going in. It's Ruben Mercedes currently with the fastest time. What can Jack West do? Jack West goes to P1, and it's a quite big improvement on the time of Ruben Mercedes. But now we're waiting for the rest to put it in. Steve Alexo now in P3. Some drivers just have a bit of slow laps, but I think it's all the first lap, so it's really good.
Yep, and Jack West, I presume, reserving for today. And another stat, and I've been queuing this up for a couple of weeks now, he will be the 50th driver on the grid in this year's Formula Sprint 2. And, well, we were waiting to see who would be the 50th, and it's going to be Jack West. And maybe he's going to take a pole position for his troubles as well.
I believe we've got more drivers who will make their FS2 debut today. It will be Jerry van Bussel, who's now currently in P6, who make his debut. And I believe also, where is he? Jarno Hermans, now currently in P21, is making his debut. And I believe we will see Piotr Adamczyk joining this session soon. He will also be driver who makes his debut. So we've got a few debutants. We should have, I think, 29 or 30 drivers in the races if they all join. So that's I think for later we will look what all the entries are. Currently have 29 drivers on the server, and I actually see a lot of green sector times on the live timing. Let's see who can improve. I think Steven is on a flyer. So does Caitlin Penny, who we are now seeing.
And pretty cool temperatures around Silverstone, 24 degrees, which actually, for British standards, is quite significant. Track temperature at 24 degrees as well, as Caitlin Penny comes to cross the line for the first time, I believe, and it's going to be 21st for Caitlin Penny, 150. Here is Scott Mitchell, the other King's racing car, looking to join his teammates and stand in for the evening on the front row, heading through the final chicane now. And I wonder, is Scott Mitchell going to just have the pace with this one? And as he crosses the line, looks like he actually might well do. It's a 1:47.9 for Scott Mitchell, and he joins his brother in fourth, his brother being third at the moment. And the little Mitchell battle has been something that we've seen a lot this season, particularly in the earlier stages. And well, we might be getting more in Britain as well, as we see Orlean Grissom heading through sector 3 now as well.
Yeah.
Not looking set to take pole position or set the world alight with the timing, but certainly going to get himself up the order a little bit. It's going to be a 150 and 23rd for Grissom.
1:58, but I think he can move forward to this in the next of the session, so hopefully he can, well, find a second or something. So currently we've got the top 11 drivers within the second, and I think we have got a few who are actually pushing very hard to go faster. We now have got 30 drivers in the server, so that's I think a good group of people. So let me look who is going green.
Remco Dessert, Spark running a special livery this weekend, and or this evening I should say, pink. And normally they run that classic McLaren style livery, but gone for a special one this time around. Here's Lillian Hilliard.
Yeah, see, you see went green. So let's see what she can do. I mean, I'm just thinking, oh yeah, name is a C, but I believe it's an he, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, it's a good improvement. So within the 149s now. So that's, I think, a barrier you want to be in. Let's see what Jessica Pelletier is doing. This will be a decent lap as well. I don't really understand why she went so early to the right, but overall I think not a bad lap. What can Ben Constantine do? 1:51.0. Yeah, that's too slow in this field for the moment, but yeah, he's got 6 minutes to go. What can Mathieu Sandak do? He should be able to easily go within the 149s. Even 148 should be possible. 149.3. So yeah, he's close on that. And let's see.
As we see Dan Hayek go into the pits, he was well off in that second sector. Must have made a mistake. I wonder if Luffield caught him out as well, as Ruben Machete is improving quite significantly. He won purple in the first sector and heads through Maggers and Beckett's now. Just about keeps the car in order, and you can see the understeer out of, well, I assume it's Beckett, that second right-hander. But not going to be enough for Ruben Machete, who is actually yellow and down in the second sector. So it's going to have to be a pretty mighty third sector for Ruben Machete. I don't think he will. He's going to stay out and just see if he can get that 2 tenths back to go onto pole position. And it was a huge bit of oversteer heading through the chicane. Now down, crossing the line. Is it going to be pole position? And I don't think it will be. It's going to be 47.9, so it's P3.
But look at Jack West. He's purple in sector 1 and purple in sector 2. What can he do? What will the benchmark be? It's 147.6, and he puts it on a 147.5. Yeah, and he lost quite a bit in the final sector, I think. But it's a very good improvement. 3 plus 10s on P2. And that the debut for Jack West. So is he the surprise we will have in the FS2 championship. That would be very.
I imagine Jack Nicholls watching on's going to be a little bit scared here.
Yeah.
The reserve driver taking all of his thunder. Maybe Kings Racing are going to give Jack Nicholls a sack. I don't think so. Jack Nicholls has been driving very well this season in 9th position with an average finishing position of 7.6 as well, which is pretty mighty.
Piotr in the academy car, he won the one of the academy races last week. He's going to P19, so I think for the first lap that's quite decent, but of course he wants more, and it's all so close in that region. I think if he finds the 3-4 10s, he will jump 4 or 5 places, so it's all very close. Well,
as we see Jack Mayer coming on through to see if he can improve on 9th position. A target time of 1:47.5, of course, and I don't think Jack is going to quite get that one. It was perfect.
Stephen Lexo is now in purple in sector 2. Let's see if he can improve. Stephen Lexo, I think he improved. Yeah, he improved. So he didn't take top position, but now he's in P2, just a tenth off Jack West. So that's, I think, good. So yeah, Lexo is in between both Jacks. So yeah, he's got hijacked.
As Remco Desert is coming on through to see if he can improve on 16th position. Right now, he's green in both of the first 2 sectors. A Spark Racing team, of course, sporting that new livery as he crosses the line. It isn't going to be particularly impressive, but it is going to be an improvement for Remco up to 14th position. As Alex Lahoe comes across the line, he must have made a mistake on that lap to be 2 seconds off of the pace of 154.6 in the end, which is definitely not close. As Piotr for GPVWC Academy then in the Academy team, really in a shot window for the race today, is going to actually back out of the lap and come into the pit. So with 2 minutes to go, you'd suggest that that's going to have to be some quick service for Piotr before he gets back round and gets a proper lap on the board.
Yeah, but it's all possible. He can still put in a lap if he gets serviced quickly. I want to do another shout out to Jerry van Bussel because he jumps to P3. So we now got 2 debutants in the top 5 and one on first position, one on 3rd position. So that spices things up, actually. So it's very, very interesting to see new guys up there. And actually, we now see Raylene Grisson spin. That's, of course, a shame. Will he... I think he did press escape, so he cannot go out again. Let's see.
Remco's on 2 back-to-back laps here, and is looking to go again. He's 3 tenths down on pole position, heading through the 2nd sector, but is up on his own time with 2 green sector 1 and sector 2. DRS closes, heading through Stowe, and Remco really trying to just break into the top 10. Something that he hasn't been able to do so far today. Heads through the final chicane now, and is it going to be enough for Remco Desert? It seems like it could be a pretty good lap, and as he crosses the line, where is it going to be? It looks like it's going to be 11, so not just enough for the top 10, but he's only a few hundredths of a second off, with Matej Sandak looking to repeat that much. He doesn't look like he'll be able to do so so far, but as he heads through the final sector now, maybe it's going to be an improvement on 18th for Sandak. They're very, very close and packed in that sort of second 10. And Sandak looking to certainly make a few statements, crossing the line now. And what's it going to be? It's not going to be pole position, of course, but it is going to be enough for 13th for Matej Sandak.
Very good lap. And what can Tommy Koivunen? Can he improve? No, not with this lap, but he will have another lap. And I believe Massimiliano Ripoli is on a faster lap as well as the, at least the second time suggests. And is it me, or is this also, I think, a special livery in...
It is.
Purple.
Purple.
So that's very interesting. Instead of black, we now got a purple car. What can Massimiliano Ripoli do? I think it will be quite a bit improvement. Where can he jump to? Which position?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
As he goes yellow as the checker flag starts to fly. It looks like Ruben Machete's had an issue. He'll resign himself to starting 5th at the best as Scott Mitchell comes through sector 2. As Sotos in chat is giving a few words of support to Remco Dessert, and good to see you around, Sotos. And once again, well done at the weekend. He got a podium for my team in another league, which was very impressive. As Scott Mitchell comes on through Cops now, and still improving in the first sector. Mitchell will see himself as will switch to Alex Laho, who looks like he's going to try and at least get into the top three. He goes fourth. Yep. And West stays on pole position for the time being. Scott Mitchell seems to be the only person who can really challenge it at this stage. As that being said, I think Luke Mitchell not on a lap anymore. But Scott Mitchell looking like he could perhaps challenge for this pole position. It's going to require a pretty big improvement heading through this final sector. And I wonder if Mitchell's going to be able to pull something out of the bag at the last opportunity. He heads through the chicane now and, seems to have the car pretty tuned up through there. Perfect racing lines and all of that. But is it going to be pole position for Scott Mitchell? It's not, but it's going to be enough for third. So it looks like now, as Jack Mayer actually comes on through. He was purple in the first sector. He's 2/10 off, so it's going to have to be something mighty once again in this final sector for Jack Mayer to steal pole position away in his home race. And
I think this should be around P3, P5, I think, depending on how good the final sector is. Where can Jack Mayer go to? It will be P6. So I think a bit
disappointing third sector.
It's still close, and he's not that far off. But in comparison with the others, it's a disappointing final sector. But he's on the page, and we now can say we've got the top 13 within a second, and I think the whole grid is within 3.2 seconds. So I think it's looking pretty good.
And if you have a look at the results, I'll let Menno even. It's been a long day. But I'll let Menno head on through these results, and then we'll get to warm-up.
So, pole position for race 1 is for debutant Jack West. Well done. With Stephen Lexo actually had a run of bad races. He's now starting in P2. Let's see what he can do. Scott Mitchell in P3 with another debutant, Jerry van Bussel, in P4. So he's also showing very good pace. Alex Lou in P5 with Jack Mayer in P6 with Luke Mitchell. I think he's the number 2 of the championship, only starting in P7. But I think with Luke Mitchell, you always know that he can work his way up. So I think decent from Luke Mitchell. Ruven Mercedes only P8. He will move up or try to move up with Mikael Tumala and Sumi Koivunen, both teammates in P9 and in P10. And we've got Tom Ely in P11 with Remco de Zeil in P12. Massimiliano Riboli in P13 with Maciej Sandak P14. Then I believe P15 is for Yusuf bin Suhail. Well, I think the standings thing just not registers that correctly. Alessandro Valente in P16 with Justin Ruan in P17, Jarno Hermans in P18, Jessica Pelletier in P19, and Josh Downard in P20. Then we've got P21 for Lilian Hilliard, Dan Hedek in P22, Christian Mena P23, Piotr Adamczyk in P24, Ben Constantine in P25, Caitlin Penny in P26, Hans van Putten P27, Chris Penna in P28, Scott Morris in P29, and Aurélien Grosson in P30. So that's the whole grid. I think we had a bit of an error because somebody left the server when we were running this. So we will go through the full starting order just before the start, so then we can see maybe some guys have got grid drops because of an incident in previous rounds. So then we will we'll look into that. We now see the track here. Well, I think everybody knows the track. Both races will be 13 laps plus a warm-up lap. So I think we are about ready. So Tom, up to you.
And we're going to quickly head to a break during the warm-up session so we can all get a drink and things like that. But we'll see you in about 8 minutes' time for the start of this race here at Silverstone. And the halfway point in the season, it should be one that is very hotly contested indeed. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes' time.
Okay. Let's go!
Welcome back, everybody, to Silverstone, ahead of race 1 here in Formula Sprint 2, round 8 of the championship. And, well, essentially bang on at the halfway point now with a 16-round season, starting to see who our title challengers are, who the people that might be slightly out of the running are as well. And, well, as per usual, we've got a pretty mixed up grid off of the starts of this one. And I've got Menno Klont alongside me, ready to digest all of the action that is about to take place. And with warm-up just coming to a close, Menno, what are your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, what are my thoughts? Yeah, I think it will be very close. I think a close battle again. I wonder how the new guys, so those are Jack West and Jerry Van Bussel, how they will do. How will they be able to keep that position until the end of race 1? That's what I want to see, because they will be hunted by the more experienced FS2 drivers. So we shall see how they are in race as well. I believe we're actually now waiting for Maciej Sandak to join, and when once he joins, we will go to the race session. So I hope he is joining soon. Well, we'll actually now see. I think it's round 8 of 16. So after this round, we are halfway. So then we can look a bit back from what we had and what is still coming. And Silverstone always I think a interesting track for those cars, because we will have the cars will have a lot of changing in weight of the car through all those corners. So it will make it very interesting to see how drivers will do that because at the end of the race, the tires will be a bit beaten up. So it will be very interesting, Tom.
A track is very difficult for tyre wear, particularly heading through Maggots and Beckett's. And Bryn Evans says in chat, "Hello, Mr. Race Ban here," and I actually don't know why you're banned, Bryn. As something you must have accumulated license points or something. But well, hopefully you can enjoy the action as a spectator for once. Maybe cheer on your teammates a little bit, and I'm sure you're around their setup anyway. Maybe offering help race engineering wise or something like that. And well, someone I'm going to keep a keen eye on is Ruven Machete, as we're taking a while getting this warm-up session ended. As I wonder what's going on there, but I'm going to keep a keen eye on Ruven Machete.
It's good to mention we now have got 5 drivers in the Formula Sprint who have reached the 0 license points and are not allowed to race in here in Silverstone. We've got Perseus Miram, who can't race, but I believe he normally drives in FS1. We've got Osama Kanani, Mihailo Vincencevic, Silver Joffert, and Bryn Evans, who all got round ban. So they don't have license points, so they got a race ban, and they can come back to Formula Sprint 2 the following round. But let's see how the replacements are doing. Well, I believe we're only having 29 drivers, so shame we lost, I believe, Maciej Sandak.
And well, over to the race session now, and well, it's a perfect sunny day in game, as it has been all day in real life as well, and going through the yearly heat wave at the UK that people still insist on refusing to call summer, but well, it's certainly nice. That's for certain, and well reflected in the game too. And hopefully we get similar weather for the actual British Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. And everyone just gridding up now, getting ready for the formation lap. And turn 1 is going to be absolutely key here, as ever, as it's relatively flat. I'm not too sure if it's exactly flat in these cars, but a very fast corner anyway, no braking zone, certainly down into turn 1, which means that the drivers are going to have to manage how they go side by side through there, as a crash at the front would Constantina up and cause huge effects throughout the entire field. So hopefully nothing like that happens, as Jack West, the reserve driver, gets us underway and immediately is going rather fast when compared to the rest of the field, and might have to back up the pack a little bit. You don't want what happened on Sunday in real life Formula 1 to where you have to really back up the pack, as the front at the back of the field are so far behind that everyone's going to run out of tyres. As Menno, you can take us to the starting order.
Oh, great. So let's see who's starting where. It's Jack West in pole position, with Steven Laxo in second position, Scott Mitchell in third, and Jerry van Bussel in P4. We've got Alex Lahou in P5, with Jack Mayer in P6, Luke Mitchell in P7, and Ruven Machede in P8. Then we've got Mikael Tomala in P9, with Tommy Koivunen in P10, Tom Ely in P11, and Remco de Zeeuw in P12. We've got Massimiliano Riboli in P13, with Yusuf Bin Suhail in P14, Alessandro Valente in P15, and Justin Ruan in P16. P17 is for Jarno Hermans, with Jessica Pelletier in P18, Josh Downard in P19, and Lilian Hilliare in P20. P21 is for Dan Hajek, with Christian Mena in P22. Piotr Adamczyk is in P23, with Ben Constantine in P24. Caitlin Penny in P25, with Hans van Putten in P26, with Chris Pena in P27, and Scott Morris in P28. With starting in last position is Aurélien Grisson. We unfortunately lost Maciej Sandak. Let's hope he will be back for race 2.
And well, so there's the grid as everyone heads around now to start this race. And well, as I see, it should be a pretty good one indeed. It's Jack West looking to take King's Racing's. Just looking through Scott Mitchell. Second win of the season, it would be, as Scott Mitchell has one win, race 2 in Australia. So it would be their first feature race of the season, and very angled.
Yeah, very angled. Jack West is already pointing a bit to the right, so we shall see how that goes. I think it's everybody's race. It will be a very interesting race at the beginning. Well, nearly everybody's lining up. I believe we're waiting for Dan.
We barely have enough grid slots, but anyway, the wait for the lights then begins, and they do start to come on. We go to 4 lights, now 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we go here in Silverstone. It's a good start from Jack West, whose plan works almost perfectly. He goes and cuts off the inside line into turn 1 and gets the race lead, and well, keeps the race lead. And actually Scott Mitchell is going to charge down the inside to get second position and make it a King's Racing 1-2 at the moment as they head now through the village section of the circuit. No one making a huge... Oh no, there is major drama at the back, and that's Tuo Marler, I believe, who's spun around, looking not to collect any other cars into that incident, but now heading down the straights for the first time in the race, and it is still that King's Racing 1-2. And Massimiliano Riboli for Alpha, Luke Mitchell even for Alpha Sierra Sim Racing, trying to go down the inside into Brooklands, and now switches back to the outside to try and make a move for 6th position, heading through Luffield. Has he got the legs for this one? It looks like maybe on the exit he might just have the ability to go around the outside, and this is incredible racing as they head now into Copse. Where have we seen this before, with someone on the inside heading into that corner, and Luke Mitchell in the end just about gets ahead into the corner. As someone once said, you don't stick a wheel up the inside into Copse.
Wow, it was a very interesting start, and now we've got a King's Racing 1-2, so they look pretty good. I think we had some incidents, but nothing really bad. I believe everybody's got their front and rear wings still, and we still have a big group. While I see Dan Hayek running off track, I think he can rejoin quite safely. So we now, I believe, see Jerry van Bussel now battling with Ruven Machede, and that's, I think, a big test at your debut, but he does quite well. I believe he lost 2 positions, but still, I think for a debutant he is doing fine at the moment. So after 1 lap, it's Jack West who leads, then is Scott Mitchell, and then it's Stephen Lexo. But Stephen Lexo is still hunting.
And West absolutely accelerating up the field, as well as we see what happened to Tuo Marler down into turn 3, it would be actually. And here we go then, as he of course got spun around, but how did it happen? And he just misjudged his braking point. I think a bit of a Constantino effect, and then that was a tap at the back, I believe, on corner exit, and Tuo Marler just went round in the end. But heading back to live pictures, we see Ruven Machede trying to make a move into 7th position, and this would only be the 2nd round of this season where Red Fen Racing fail to take a podium, and Ruven Machede looking to rectify that particular record, and isn't able to get into 7th position in the end. In fact, he's going to come under a little bit of pressure by one of the Scuderia cars, and this is for 8th position even, and it's Tommy Kuvian, and Machede just able to stay ahead.
All cars now go through Copse and the corners after. Well, Jack West really looks to have good pace. He drives away from Scott Mitchell, and Scott Mitchell...
Oh, Pelleter's round! And that was a tap with Mikhail Tuo Marler. Once again, a Pelleter into the wall, Tuo Marler into the wall as well, and that was heading through Maggots and Beckett's, and Pelleter just dramatically being sent across the circuit. And that was quite a sizable accident. I'm sure we'll get a replay in a moment. Someone's off there at the back as well. And I didn't see who that was. It's Tom Ely. He's now down into 19th position. And everything kicked off there in the sequence of just a few corners.
And it's not looking well for Deltec while both cars are involved in incidents at nearly the same time. But we've got quite a bit of battles through the field. I believe I saw... a battle for P11, which is shaping up very nicely. It's Massimiliano Riboli against Justin Ruan.
Here's the replay of what happened then. I think this is going to be... Who's it going to be between? It's Tom Ely. What happened with him? And heading into Stowe, it was. He has just lost the car. Yeah. And, well, I'm afraid to say that was his own doing. And
we've got a great battle, I believe, for P11 and now P12, P13 is now Justin Ruan is overtaking Josh Downhart. So, they're going side by side into cops, going into top cops. Oh, that will always be very interesting now, but Justin lets it go, and Josh Downhart is now back in 12th position.
But here's Yusuf, and, well, he is supposed to be commentating this series, but racing and doing it quite well. So I think we'll let him off on that one. But he's trying to make moves up into 14th position, of course, right down in the minor points paying positions at the moment, with Piotr, who has actually made a pretty good bit of progress through the field. As if I remember correctly, he started down in the 20s and now fighting for points with Luke Mitchell. The next person we're going to focus on for a moment. He's trying to make moves on Jack Mayer, and there's a bit of a DRS train here, I think, and that's just costing everyone a little bit of time. Luke Mitchell not able to get past Jack Mayer yet at this stage.
Like you said,
really pressuring him.
Yeah, DRS is enabled, and if I look at the front, I think Jack Wester's already driven out of the DRS of Scott Mitchell, so Scott Mitchell doesn't have DRS, but from Scott Mitchell, you've got a DRS train all the way to P6, so they're all on a wire with Jerry van Bussel. I think, yeah, he's not in DRS now, but maybe with a bit of pushing, he can bring him in, Ruven Machede into that group. We shall see.
Here is Ruven Machede thinking about a launch around the outside, but he was a little bit too far back on Van Bussel. And Red Ven Racing actually have got someone in the podium positions, and it's Stephen Lexo. He's in third. So they won't make it only their second event without a podium as it stands, with Justin Ruan. Here he is around the outside of Yusuf Bin Soyal, and not able to make the move. Yusuf up into 14th position, and the Optimal Esports car we'll just go with Optimal. It's I can't pronounce the rest of that name, but well, he was going to come under pressure for 15th as it was from Piotr, who's just trying to get himself up into the points. Here's Alex Laho continuing what has been a pretty strong run since the first couple of rounds. He was just getting used to the car. Since he has got used to the car, Alex Laho's results have been pretty incredible. His average position is still only 9.1, but that's after a few poor performances at the start of the year, and he's really picked up the form and been a pretty solid and consistent driver since then. And now, once again, knocking on the door of a podium as Piotr, something happened there. He was overtaken around the outside of Stowe, and he's trying to make a move up into 15th position. Is he going to think about a dive? He certainly thought about it, but in the end, had to settle for 16th position for the time being, and he's got Hermans just behind him, and he needs to be careful not to be embroiled in a battle with him. Here's Jack Mayer once again trying to make a move on Laho now, and again this is just a bit of a DRS train everywhere from Scott Mitchell to Jack Mayer, and this, as we said, would be the first 1-2 finish of the Kings Racing team's season. And
don't jinx it, I would say. It's still quite a bit to go. We're not even halfway, and it looks good for Kings Racing. But yeah, let's not jump to that, because it's really close. And Steven Lexo seems to be pretty racy. I think Scott Mitchell has got it all under control, but I just see that the rest is quite racy, and they need to keep it up, and then. Yeah, we shall see how it will be. Well, Alex Lu had a very good moment out of cops. He's going to go around the outside of Steven Lexo. Around outside, inside, yeah, and they touched in. Oh, and Jack Mayer is off. Oh, Luke Mitchell is off. And a big incident. And again, it is damage from Jerry van Bussel, and it is damage for Steven Lexo. You just saw the incident just happening, and we've got, I believe,
here's what happened then. And so Laho got tapped round in the end, and he was going around the outside at Magnussen Beckett's. Here it was. He was in fact out the inside, and he stuck a wheel in, and I think he just got tapped by Lexo. Mayer made a really good deal of it, and there was a second tap and a third tap in the end from Laho. Lexo is probably out of the race as well. Laho is out of the race, and I'm afraid after I was singing his praises, that is his 4th DNF of the season. Ruben Machete, however, up into 6th position, and now focusing his sights on Tommy Kuvian. But I'm just going to refer to live timing for the confirmation of that. But I believe that is both Lexo and Laho out of this race, and another unfortunate incident out of a promising position for Alex Laho. Here's Machete though. He's going to go for a move down the inside to make it 5th position, surely down into Brooklands. Has he got the braking performance? Not quite. But heading into Luffield, he's going to try and do a little bit of a switch here, and not quite able to make it work. And in fact, now he's got Valente trying to make a move down his inside. And, well, eventually Valente has to think better than that. And again, no one going to brave the wheel up into Cops, as I can see Alex Laho actually now in the Race Director channel in GPVWC.
Can I just say, Alessandro Valente is a really silent assassin. I mean, I was not looking at him. We've got an incident, and certainly Alessandro is driving in P7. So he's just sneaky his way into the top 10. Okay, we had some incidents, but he does that quite well. It was a shame we had an incident with Steven Exo and Alex Lahu. I'm not sure how to judge that incident because, of course, is that an overtaking spot? Maybe not really, but Alex, I think we was side by side for quite a while, and it was unlucky. I think that it ended like that, and actually that they more or less, spun on the racing line, which made the carnage even bigger. But the biggest gainer, of course, are both the Kings Racing, who are now more easily first and second, and Jack Mayer now P3, and I think that's something what he wanted. Luke Mitchell in all of this is now in P4, so decent points. Ruven now in P5, but
it's a move from Ruven got past, and now Alejandro Vallejo. It's going to be 3 wide down into Brooklands, and Valente is going to just about make the move. Riboli's going to come down the inside as well and make the move on Kuvian, who's now lost 3 positions in 2 laps. So that's a bit of disappointment from him, as he's just been a little bit of a sitting duck really, and made a move clearly out of that incident, and hasn't got the pace to stay in the top 5. So Machete, Valente and Riboli is 5th through 7th, and Riboli makes a little bit of a mistake onto the curbing, and now is going to have to just settle down and set his sights on Valente ahead, who himself is thinking about a move on Machete. But these guys are actually quite far down from the top 4 and the podium as well. So really, it's going to be 5th that's their best position. Valente now has the speed, and is he going to think about a move around the outside at Stowe? He's going to do more than think about it. He's going to try and make it, and has he got the legs? Alejandro Valente around the outside. What? It's going to have to be down into the... he's going to do it before the braking zone. Alejandro Valente around the outside at Stowe, got the extra grip, and Ruben Machete, I don't think he's going to even feel annoyed that happened to him, as that was a mighty move. That being said, he is going to have a couple of DRS zones at this lap to get it back. You have no idea how I'm now staring to my monitor, man. How did he do that? And he was so determined to get that position. He feels there are problems with, I think, the way of how the car of Ruven is handling, and he knows he needs to go for it. Apparently Ruven's got a little bit of damage, but now Riboli is going to try and put that theory to the test, trying to make the move into 6th position. And I think Ruven definitely has got damage. Look at the top speed, but Valente makes a bit of a mistake, and Ruven tries to have a look down the inside, makes a little bit of a mistake himself. The car just oversteering on him and sliding away, and that's not going to be helping him too much. But Riboli now trying to see if he can make something of Reuven's potential damage. And yes, Reuven looks to have a lot less top speed than his counterparts. Even with the DRS, he was barely able to keep up with Alejandro Valente. And Riboli now will be feeling like he can perhaps make the move up into 6th position and then start to focus on Alejandro Valente, who of course made that huge move down the around the outside into Stowe, I should say. There we go. Machete doesn't get the best of exits, and now Riboli with the DRS is going to look to make the move. Of course, Machete has the DRS as well, but we believe he has got some damage, and I think if Riboli is able to make this move around the outside at Stowe, which he is, again, that pretty much proves that Reuven Machete is carrying a little bit of damage.
Yes, and of course this will be very, very hard for him. But he's got a championship to think on, and a potential good starting position in race 2. So, of course, he will try to take the maximum points out of this race. But I think the way Reuven will drive is to be careful, like not to lose too much unneeded points. So he's trying to, I think, to keep the pace as high as he can. But I am not sure if it will stay P7, or maybe a few other drivers can take him now, because the car is definitely very wounded.
Yep, and well, here we go. There's a move around the outside at Brooklands from Massimiliano Riboli, and Alejandro Valente caught napping a bit there. And into Luffield, Massimiliano Riboli with perhaps the best move of the day. Machete is driving a rally car around this circuit, and I think he certainly has damage, and I think he's certainly going to be trying to just keep this one on the road. That being said, this little battle is helping him a great deal at keeping up with the pack. Alejandro Valente caught napping, as I said, by Massimiliano Riboli, and now Machete, despite his damage, is going to try and make a move into Maggots and Beckett. Is not going to happen for him. And Valente stays ahead, but not convincingly. And Riboli with an absolute masterclass of a move.
Yeah, but now I believe Reuven Machete went off a bit, just going on the hanger straight. So now he lost touch to Alessandro Valente and Massimiliano Riboli. So let's see if he can get back, if Reuven can get back into the tail of Alessandro Valente. In the meantime, we've now got, I believe, 10 laps done, and our leader is still Jack West. And if we don't see him that much, then it's always a good thing, because then he's just driving away, does his thing. And I actually believe Scott Mitchell is getting a bit closer the last few laps, but it's looking very good for Kings Racing. And I think they were on the threat at the beginning of the race, but with the incident we saw, I think it opened it up a bit. And Jack Meir is now in P3, and I think that's more than he would have thought at the beginning of the race. But sometimes you're lucky, and he definitely is. With Luke Mitchell now in a good P4.
Yep, and well, with Jack Meir in third, he'll feel a little bit happy with that. Certainly, you'll feel a little bit lucky. We'll say it that way with of course the Stephen Lexo and Alex Lowe incident. But it's an all British podium as well. West, Mitchell, and Mayer all being, to my knowledge, English drivers, and it's a little bit of a guess on Jack West, but it certainly sounds a very British name. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't English. But anyway,
I believe the website says he drives under the flag of, I want to check before I'm saying it, the flag of Wales.
There we go, so he is British as well, so it's an all British podium. And now we see actually the two Alfa Sierra cars have caught up with each other, and Riboli is going to switch to the inside on his teammates, and at Stowe is going to make the move as well, with Tommy Gouvier now making the move around the outside of Reuven Machete. And Machete needs to start, as I'm in no place to tell these drivers how to drive, but perhaps covering that outside a little bit, as he's been done there at Stowe 3 times now, and Gouvier is through as well. And to be fair to Machete, he's carrying a little bit of damage, so he is of course fighting a losing battle, and down in 8th position now, and after being potentially fighting for a podium, is down into 8th. Not a great result for the championship leader.
Oh, well, I think Josh Darmont also sees that this is will be his only opportunity to overtake Ruven Macheda this season. So we shall see if Josh Downer can make the move as well. I think he might need a few more corners to go for it. Let's look at
Valente now down the inside on Luke Mitchell. Is going to make the move up into 5th position and, is going to continue this little bit of a cut through the field with Massimiliano Riboli. And with 2 laps to go at the line, 2.5 as it stands, the top 3 is going to stay at West, Mitchell and Mayo. And in fact, they've got about 6 seconds to the top 3. So these guys can't really think about a move there. But Massimiliano Riboli up a massive 9 positions and Alejandro Valente up a huge 10. And of course, accidents in the field have helped their cause. But that's still a pretty mighty drive.
Yeah, that's really, really good. But we're not there yet. So let's see if all the tires, keep it to the end. We, of course, in other series, we saw some, flat tires at the end. So let's hope we will not see that here. I'm looking at the final point scoring position. So it's Remco de Zeeuw now in P15. Tom Illy now in P14, going for P13 of Justin Ruin. So that's a big battle for a few points. Jarno Hermans at debut now P12. Yusuf Bin Suhail in P11. With Piotr Adamczyk now in P10. And then we go up to Josh Downard, Ruven Macheda, Tommy Koivunen, Luke Mitchell, Alessandro Valente, Massimiliano Riboli, Jack Mayer, Scott Mitchell, and Jack West from 10 to 1st.
Not long to go in this one now, about a lap and a half, and Jack West is absolutely dominating. And in fact, the battle at the top 3 hasn't been as closely fought as it has been all season, with a huge gap between the 3. But Kings Racing look almost certain to take their first 1-2 of the season, only their second win of the season, as well as Ruven Macheda is trying to get back up the order, trying to make a move on 7th position on Tommy Kuvian, but not quite going to work for him at the moment. Valente is pressurising Massimiliano Riboli. And with about a lap and a half to go now, as we said, is starting to think that maybe 4th position could be his. And if I'm not mistaken, this would be the highest finish for Alejandro Valente this season so far. And, he's got plenty of DRS zones to do this. And I wonder, maybe he's going to not make this move as early as possible. Oh, he's almost round at Magus and Beckett's. And he is round at Magus and Beckett's. And the commentator curse strikes.
That's 3 positions lost for Alessandro Valente. He was pushing for it, and he now makes a mistake, and that's the 4th position he lost. So from P5, now it's P9.
P9. And it would still be a highest finish of the season for Valente, but that won't be enough for him to be happy with this result after starting 5th. And, he just overdrove the car a little bit into Maggots and Beckett's, and that's not really what you want to be doing when you're on for a best finish of the season. But Valente at least has shown the pace and will be able to pick up some good points as well in 9th position, but also able to perhaps get a better, more favourable position heading into the other race that we've got this evening. And 9th, still a season personal best finish. But now down the inside into 8th position, Valente. And, I don't think anyone saw that particular move coming. And now down the inside again. He's not quite got the speed to do this, but he has got the DRS now. And up into 8th position, Alejandro Valente, almost certainly down into Brooklands. He seems to have all the pace in the world for this one. And in the end, he is still not quite going to be able to make the move. He is in the end. And 8th position for Alejandro Valente is on the final lap of this race. West is, here we go, Jack West heading through Magus and Beckett's now for the final time. He is the reserve now, and Jack Nicholls not here this weekend, or this evening I should say, this week for whatever reason. And Jack West has stepped up, the other Jack, and got Kings Racing their best team result of the season, and he's obviously equalled their best result of the season on an individual level as well. Kings Racing are currently sitting quite far down the order. I say far down, third.
And we're now seeing the last few corners. Hello, my name is Jack West. I'm just substituting for Jack Nicholls. Hello, my name is Jack West, and I will take the full 25 points at my race debut. Well done, Jack West. Well done. Very impressive. And
Scott Mitchell
makes
is
it
going to make it
1-2. 1-2, that's, I believe, 45 points at least. I'm not sure about the fastest lap for Kings Racing at their home Grand Prix. So this will be, they will be so happy with Jack Mayer also at his home Grand Prix, finishing in P3. So I think the whole podium runners are all very happy with Massimiliano Riboli finishing in P4, Luke Mitchell in P5, Tommy Koivunen a very strong P6. Ruven Machete with a wounded car still P7, and that position is very important. Alessandro Valente finishes at P8 with Josh Down at P9. Piotr Adamczyk at debut finishes P10 with Yusuf Bin Suhail in P11 for Team RNG, and Team RNG needed a couple of points. They didn't score much. Tobili in P12 with Rustin in P13, Remco de Zeeuw P14, and Jarno Hermans. I think he lost a few positions in the final few laps, and he finishes in P15, which still gives him 1 point.
And so Kings Racing are the kings of Race 1 in Silverstone. That was maybe a little bit cheesy, but well, they've also done themselves quite well for the points haul as they're third in the championship, and that's going to increase the distance to TOP down in fourth. And Jack Nichols in YouTube chat has said, "I will never get my seat back." And we suspect as much, Jack, as I think your reserve is we're doing quite well in this race. But here is confirmation of the results as Jack West takes the win, and Scott Mitchell finishes in second. 1-2 for Kings Racing for the first time this season, and Jack Mayer is in third for TOP Esports. Massimiliano Riboli, a brave drive through the field. 9 positions he made up in the end. In fourth position, Luke Mitchell in fifth with Tommy Gouvian in sixth. Ruven Machete finishes seventh, which is quite mighty considering he had damage. Alejandro Valente finishes disappointingly down in eighth position. He did make up a position at the end there, but was on for a lot bigger and greater things, with Josh Downard settling for ninth position, and Piotr actually finishing 10th in a race where he wasn't really around, and pretty solid drive for him. Yusuf Bin Soil is in 11th position for Team RNG, with Tom Ely in 16th, Justin Ruin in 13th, with Remco de Zeeuw in 14th, and then Jarno Hermans in 15th, just stealing some points at the end. Lillian Hilliard is the sole servo competition runner, down in 16th position, with Caitlin Penny in 17th. Mikael Tuamale is in 18th, with Christian Menner in 19th. Ben Constantine finishes 20th for ST Racing, with Jerry Van Bussel finishing in 21st for VMS Sun Edits Racing. Hans Van Putten is in 22nd, the other VMS entrant into this race, with Chris Pina in 23rd. Stephen Lexo finishes in 24th. He did keep going in the end, in all fairness to him, with Dan Hayek in 25th, Orion Grisson in 26th, Scott Morris, Jessica Belliter, and Alex Lahoe being the 3 DNFs from this race. So we are going to go to a quick break as we head to the warm-up for this second race here in Silverstone. And, well, we'll see you in about 10 minutes' time.
Oh, that was a race, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to GPVWC FS2. And, well, after a pretty dominant performance from King's Racing in that first race, we're back for race 2. And the big news is, of course, the reverse grid number, which is number 14. Remco Desert is on pole position. And actually, Remco being a very, very fast driver, I'd say he could actually go on and win this race, Menno.
Well, yeah, it could be possible, but yeah, he will of course be the sheep hunted by a horde of wolves. So I would say so. Yeah, of course, with a decent start, he will have a good chance to walk away a bit. But yeah, like 2 weeks ago, we shall see how the faster guys from race 1 how they come through the field, and if they maybe will be challenging in the end of the race.
Yep, and. Well, it should be a pretty interesting race for certain, as just looking along my live timing screen, Scott Mitchell has actually topped the warm-up session, as that's just come to a close now. So, well, maybe Scott Mitchell might be have found something pace-wise that will cut him through this field. Remco only third out of six people to set a lap time. So there's a few more people jeering Jack Nicholls in chat, and I don't think your seat is that under pressure, Jack, unless maybe Jack West comes through and still wins by 5-6 seconds in this second one. Then you may be in a little bit of trouble, but well. Jack was certainly impressing on his reserve debut, and I think if he is looking for a more full-time seat, maybe he will be able to find one in this league somewhere with a performance like that.
From what I've heard, he might already have one, but yeah, it's not me to announce it. If the rumors at least are true, from what I've heard, and I hear a lot. So yeah, we will see some of those drivers definitely back.
And I don't think you can win your first race and get the team's first 1-2 and not be offered a full-time seat, at least somewhere. And I doubt it'd be at King's Racing, because I don't think they'd sack off Jack Nicholls because of someone coming in. And you'd hope not, anyway. That would be a bit of a stab in the back. But anyway, we move on, as once again, the warm-up session taking a while to clear out here, and not too sure why. I think maybe people just setting laps. Caitlin Bennett is still actually on the track, so maybe she's just coming across the line in a moment, and then we'll get this moved on into the race. And there we go. I can see the jumps on race view as the session. No, it's just a refresh. I thought the session was over and we were moving on, but anyways, there's not much to say in these few moments. But as we said, a 13-lap race again, race 2. And, well, everyone's got to do it all again. A chance to redeem yourself if you were particularly poor in the first race. And a chance to, also throw it all away, in a way, if you did a good job in the first race. You don't want to be getting first at DNF. That would be certainly quite disappointing. But... well, also a chance for Ruben Machado, I think, is someone to keep an eye on. As 7th position, he'll be starting from 7th, and of course hasn't got that damaged car this time around. So hoping that he can get back through the field. As another person to keep an eye on, his fellow commentator, Yusuf Bin Soyal, is in 4th position to start this race, and he also might be someone on for some pretty good points.
Yeah, this will be an opportunity for a lot of those drivers who normally are not up the podium positions. But yeah, the chance is there. Let's see how they execute it. If they actually have a chance, if their pace is high enough, if they are a bit lucky, we shall see that. While we're waiting for the warm-up session, the warm-up lap to start, not the session, but the warm-up lap, and then we will take you through the whole grid, and we've got the starting order right here. So it's Remco Desert from pole position with Justin Ruan in P2, Tom Ely in 3rd position with Yusuf Bin Sohail in P4. Then we've got Piotr Adamczyk in P5, Josh Downard in P6, Alessandro Valente in P7, and Ruven Machete in P8. Then we've got Tommy Koivunen in P9 with Luke Mitchell in P10, Massimiliano Rivoli in P11, and Jack Mayer in P12. Scott Mitchell starts in P13, and the winner of race 1, Jack West, starts in P14. Jarno Hermans starts in P15 with Lilian Hilliard in P16. Caitlin Penny will start in P17 with Mikael Tumala in P18. Christian Mena in P19 and Ben Constantine in P20. Jerry van Bussel in P21 with Hans van Putten in P22. Chris Penna in P23 and Steven Lexo all the way down in P24, sadly. Then we've got Dan Hayek in P25 and Aurélien Brison in P26. Scott Morris in P27 and Jessica Pelletier in P28, with Alex Lehoux starting last in P29. I believe we still didn't have Maciej Sandak back, who has some technical problems, I believe, relating his internet, so that's quite sad. Wow,
and always
weaving on the straight.
Always disappointing when things out of your control prevent you from racing. And well, I had a 24-hour race once that I lost because my teammate disconnected, and it always is a bit of a sucker punch. And we lost 6 laps in the end and managed to finish second, but it was certainly a disappointing one in hindsight. But well, we wait now as Remco, sporting that special livery, is going to grid up and get ready for what is going to be a rather important race start, of course, with the faster people, as well, their own pace has proved that. The faster people cutting through the field. You'll be hoping that Remco can just get away here, pull a gap, and then hope that by the time the faster people have got past everyone, that he'll have the opportunity to actually fend off the gap. Well, as Alex Lehoux, not in his... Yes, as here we go then.
Yeah.
We wait for the lights, and everyone is finally gridded up.
Okay.
And, well, it's a bit of a long wait, as there we go. They finally come on. And we go to 5 red lights, and it is lights out and away we go. And well, it's a good start from Remco Desert, as he would have hoped. And down into turn 1, he's actually going to be pressured a little bit, and they make contact in the end, but he just about stays ahead, does Remco, heading through turn 1, and that just shows how treacherous turn 1 can be here at Silverstone. Is who's that? Is that Alejandro Valente on the outside, trying to make up some moves in a positive direction in this race, as Remco still holds on to the race lead, but not by much.
Ruven got pushed off there. He got really pushed off by, I believe, it was 3 cars wide into one of the turns there. Yeah, and now he's up to P14, and we know he can, well, go back quite quick to the field. But yeah, he lost quite a bit. Well, I see Josh Downard went off, but it's a bit of a hectic start. It's still Remco de Zeeuw is leading for Justin Ruyen in P2. Tom Ely is still in P3 with Yusuf Bin Suhail in P4. Piotr Adamczyk now P5 with Alessandro Valente in P6. But look all those cars going through cops now. It's a beautiful sight.
Jack West has actually made up a couple of positions off the start as Massimiliano Riboli makes a mistake through cops, and West actually can't focus on that mistake as he's under pressure from Jack Mayer just behind. Jack Mayer having got past Scott Mitchell off of the start as well. Here is Luke Mitchell, the other Mitchell, trying to make a move on Tommy Gouvion and to just sort of accelerate himself through this order and maybe focus on a race win at the end of it. It's a long way to go yet, and Justin Ruyen is thinking about the race win himself, trying to get past Remco Desert. That being said, the DRS isn't enabled yet, so it might be a couple of laps before he can make that move. There's a move further back from Massimiliano Riboli on Jack Mayer, and they're jostling for position, and Riboli just about, I believe, has got ahead of that one, and he does in the end. As actually we see, is that Jack West trying to make a move? It is, and he's not quite able to do it down into turn 1. He's practically pushing P9 through the field. That's Josh Downard, and now perhaps into the chicane. He's going to try and make the move. It's a dive, and he's not quite able to find the room.
Well, there is a bit of a tap from Alessandro Valente. He was alongside, but they still hit each other. So it's now Alessandro Valente in P5 with Potter Adamczyk in P6. And I must say, I think Alessandro Valente showed a lot of pace in race 1. Let's see what he can do. Well, we've got a side-by-side fight between Tommy Koivunen, Luke Mitchell and Piotr Adamczyk. So how will that turn out? I think pretty hectic. But this Luke Mitchell is now at the inside of Tommy Koivunen. But can Koivunen go around the outside? Yeah, he's got more speed. Can he keep the corner? Yeah, he keeps the corner. Well, in front, Piotr Adamczyk nearly lost control. But yeah, of course, he's got fast hands. Otherwise, he wouldn't not be driving here, so he saved it.
And, well, Jack West still trying to make moves up the order. 9th at the moment. You can see just ahead Luke Mitchell trying to make a move on Kuvian. And this might help Jack West, who's got all the slipstream in the world. And now down the inside into Stowe. He's going to try and make the move on Kuvian. And, well, he gets ahead of the skid area car quite convincingly under the brakes and can now set his sights ahead on Luke Mitchell. That being said, Luke Mitchell is absolutely no slouch and is certainly not easy to pass. The King's racing car has got a heap load of pace in this particular round of the championship, and as we said, is doing a great deal for the King's Racing points tally.
Yes, well, and now we see Remco actually walking a bit away of Justin Ruin. Well, we've got Tom Ely is going to the attack for P2. He's now alongside Justin Ruin, but he can't
Mitchell. Mitchell's round. Mitchell is round. He tried to make the move on Jack Mayer and it was just kind of 2 into 1, didn't go. And Scott Mitchell ends up with a bit of a half spin, but it sends him a little bit further down the order as now Tom Ely is trying to make a move for second position. He goes for a huge dive, an audacious dive down into Brooklands, not quite able to make it work as Yusuf now trying to make a move up into 4th position. He's already been overtaken for that position from Alejandro Valente, and actually doing quite well, Yusuf, to stay in 4th position. Here's Massimiliano Riboli. He's trying to make a move through maybe Copse on Downward, and this is going to be for 10th position. He is going to stick a wheel into Copse almost, as well, as I said before, someone said you couldn't do that. It's 3 wide. It's going to be 3 wide with Jack West on the outside. He backs out of it in the end, and perhaps the sensible route as Piotr for GPVWC Academy vying for a full-time seat is going to get overtaken around the outside by Luke Mitchell, and now it's going to be Jack West who tries to follow him through. There's still no DRS just yet on lap 3 of this race.
There is DRS, actually.
No, there isn't. Not on this lap. There will be on the next lap. As Jack West now around the outside, thinks about it at Stowe, can't quite find the grip on that particular line. And in fact now is going to come under a little bit of pressure from Tommy Kuvian and into the chicane, thinks about it. And in fact, West tried to go for a move himself, which was quite smart, as Ely now on the inside of Yusuf is going to get 4th position. You would think there must have been a mistake there because Ely was in 3rd for a second, and Yusuf is now attacking him, but gets the move into turn 1, and Yusuf is going to try and have a little bit of a counter attack as we switch back to Piotr, who down the inside is going to have West, and he's made contacts, and he did well to hold on to the car, did Jack West there, and not lose much ground. And the first race winner, or the race winner in the first race here, almost had a very, very different end, very early end to this second race, and Piotr just about holds on to the position in the end. He forced him all the way to the grass, and that was dramatic from Jack West. Piotr is holding on to this position like his life depends on it, and West can't find a way through.
Yeah, I would say there are a lot of things are happening currently, but still Remco de Zeeuw leading, then Justin Ruin, and then it's Alessandro Valente. Alessandro Valente now is in P3, and he has got the pace. Maybe is this then the day he dreamt from? Maybe 2 weeks ago, he was close to a win or a podium, and then it went wrong, I believe, with 2 laps to go. Will this then be his day? But yeah, will this be the day for Justin and for Remco? It looks quite good because they already are nearly 5 laps in, and it looks all pretty decent. Also for Tom Ely and Yusuf bin Suhail. But where are the rest coming? Luke Mitchell now is in P6.
I apologise, Menno, because here comes West, and he's on the inside, and they make contact again. These two really having a very personal scrap for 7th position, but West just about makes the move in the end, and now Peter's going to come under more pressure from Ripley. They make contact, and they're both into the gravel, and Ripley, I think he must have locked up there and just didn't get the turn into the corner. But Piotr has gone from hero to zero in a very quick space of time, and there's a spinner at the back as well. That might be, I think, Mikael Tuomala,
Yeah, he got hit. So what happened with Ripoli is that he went for the move on Piotr, but in doing so he nearly hit, who was that? Was the car in front, I believe, Jack West, and he needed to straight line the car in order to not hit him, and then he went off and sent Piotr with him. Well, now we've got a problem for Yusuf bin Suhail, who went off. We went on the curb and lost a few positions, so Yusuf now is in P9, which for him would still be very good. So after 5 laps, it's Remco De Zeeuw leading Justin Ruin in P2, Alessandro Valente in P3, and then there's already a gap to P4 for Tom Ely, Luke Mitchell now in P5, Jack West now in P6, Ruven Beshede in P7, and Tommy Koivunen in P8. And let's see, Jack Mayer now is in P11. He is quite important for the championship. Well, I see some cars going off at Cops, but nothing major. So let's see, do we have got other drivers who are looking pretty quick? It's Jerry van Bussel, who was unlucky from the race 1 incident, already in P12. He shows pace. Scott Mitchell is in P13, and Stephen Lexo already in P16 after retiring early.
There's a move from Mitchell down the inside, and Mitchell's been spun round, and he collects Mayer as well. And, well, there wasn't quite the room on the inside for Mitchell there, and I believe it was Mitchell. It might actually... No, it was Riboli, sorry, as I thought they were the other way around. But no, Riboli round in the end, and that's really hindered his progress after what was looking like a pretty promising drive through the field, despite that incident on the previous lap. And, well, that can... Everyone in the top 7 can breathe, as they don't have Riboli to worry about now. Luke Mitchell has got past Tom Ely, and now looking to set his sights on Valente in 3rd position. There's only 2.9 second gap there. Valente himself is trying to make a move for 2nd position, and in fact 2nd position tries to make a move for 1st position around the outside at Brooklands. I don't think Justin is going to find the pace around there. Remco holds on pretty firm for the time being, and is the head of what is a pretty interesting DRS train here, and they could do with not battling each other actually, with the charging Luke Mitchell just behind. As we get to about half distance in this race, Remco goes very defensive into Cops. Valente has what seemed to be a self-inflicted oversteer moment, but heading through Cops, is he going to be able to find the extra spin? Oh, there's a mistake from Ruin, and now Alejandro Valente tries to make a move around the outside at Maggers and Beckers. It's such a fast corner, he's going to have to brake, and almost there's a huge crash into the wall for Alejandro Valente, and he's out of the race as well. And Justin Ruin is in 2nd position, looking like he might be able to hold on to this one, as you could see that coming with Valente, as now Jack West tries to make a move into Stowe on Tom Ely down the inside for 4th position in the race, and he is going to make it. And well, he's had pretty dominant pace, and you'd expected him to make that move.
Oh, I can't believe it. Again, it happened for Alessandro Valente. He is so quick, but it doesn't work out for him. And the pace was good enough for, I would say, definitely a podium or even a win. But then, drama again, and I can't believe it. And now it's Luke Mitchell for P2. Then it all kicks off, and Luke Mitchell from definitely outside of the podium, and now can sniff on a win. And if he wins, then he will claw back quite a lot of points on Ruven, and then I think he will be happy, Luke Mitchell, because this is very important. When we got halfway of the championship, he is then still in it, but of course he is not there yet. It's still Remco De Zeeuw who is...
Oh, there's contact! And that's Jerry Van. In fact, is that the two VMS on its cars? I don't know. Is Bin Soyol is round as well, and that adds to his rows. And of course, Bin Soyol is in the RNG car, but Van Bussel, one of the other debutants today, collects Bin Soyol, and that was down into Brooklands. That was a very ugly thing to look at. But here is Justin Ruin trying to make a move on Luke Mitchell, and I think we will be looking for a replay. And Remco holds on to the lead. He's got 1.8 seconds from Luke Mitchell. This is getting quite tasty, and we might have a bit of a police chase on our hands with Luke Mitchell chasing after Remco de Zer. And well, it was a few talkings in the YouTube chat as Rodrigo Carvalho says interesting that people exist that want to overtake at Maggotts and Beckett's, as we see West down the inside into a podium position, completes his drive through the field. And well, I have to say to that, Rodrigo, that if the move is on, then it was on. It was certainly on for Valente there, and it just was unfortunate that it happened.
Yeah, you can still overtake at Maggotts and Beckett's, but you need to be very sure of yourself and the car that you will keep the grip. But then it's definitely a possibility. It's still a bit an unconventional overtaking place, I will say. Well, we've got Tom Ely and Justin Ruin battle for P4. And after 8 laps done, it's still Remco de Zer who's leading with Luke Mitchell in P2 and Jack West in P3. But yeah, Jack West and Luke Mitchell are charging. And yeah, Remco needs to drive his very best to do well and to get that win, if that is still possible.
Well, we can be excited, but unfortunately for Remco, already is Luke Mitchell in DRS range, and Remco will be starting to sweat a little bit in the cockpit as Piotr Adamczyk is in 10th position. He's got Stephen Lexo just behind him. Can't really get through at the moment, Stephen Lexo. He's a little bit of a sitting duck, and it does appear actually that it will be the second time where Red Fen Racing do not get a podium this season, only the second round even. And well, Piotr now is under pressure down into Maggotts and Beckett's, and Stephen Lexo proving why his team are winning the championship, and that is how you are leading the championship, I'd say, and that is how you overtake at Maggotts and Beckett's. But here we go, Tom Ely now trying to make a move for 4th position. He's all over the road is Ruin, and now Ely around the outside. There's no damage this time for Justin Ruin, and almost Tom Ely went around the outside all the same, and Ruben Machete just behind that might have been having a few flashbacks on that one, as that was almost quite a huge move.
Well, Remco de Zer is going very defensive over start finish. Yeah, he still needs to do a couple of laps, and Luke Mitchell is not passed yet, but yeah, you just see he is getting closer and closer on that rear wing of that car of Remco de Zer. Let's see how long Remco can hold on. Maybe he can hold on until the finish of the race. He will of course try, but now we've got Luke Mitchell with DRS. He will have of course a lot more speed. Will go around the outside, but yeah, he will not get him here, will he? Yeah,
oh yes, he will. Luke Mitchell around the outside gets the move, and Jack West is down the inside as well. Remco de Zer has gone from 1st to 3rd in the space of seconds, and well, Jack West just about got that move done in the end. And Luke Mitchell now going to find himself under pressure for the race lead that he's only just got. Remco de Zer thinks about a move into Copse, but that would have been certainly brave.
This is something. Oh well, Jack West makes a mistake at Copse. This is something Jack West needed to do, because if he wants to win that race, he needs to go with Luke Mitchell, and actually he did that very well. Can Jack West do the same what Ruben Machete did 2 weeks ago? Can he win both races? I mean, you make a good impression with pole position. You make an even better impression when you win race 1. But winning both races a debut, then yeah, then you're the guy that nearly everybody wants in their team. So then yeah, then costs went up. If he indeed could do so, I think it will be very, very close between Jack and Luke.
Dear, there's a contact and there's Tom Ely's round, and well, that seemed very avoidable, that's for certain. And Ely now down into it's going to be 12th position when all is said and done, maybe even 13th. But, well, Jack Nicholls is certainly sitting at home, probably biting his fingernails now. It's Jack West is now trying to make a move on Luke Mitchell. All of a sudden, it looks like he's got the pace and he's got the DRS to make this move as well. Down the straight for the 10th time in this race, Jack West is going to make a move to try and make it 2 wins from 2, and it's going to be only the 2nd time this season we've seen the double been done, and Jack West is going to make it the double, at least for the time being. And I think with the pace that he has got, it'll take a great deal for Luke Mitchell to get back by. It's going to be a Kings Racing double win for only the 2nd time this season, but Kings Racing's 1st time.
Yeah, well, I need to say that Luke Mitchell seems to be really thinking the long plan here. If he can finish both races in front of Ruven Mercedes, that will of course be very good for his championships. Of course, he would love to win a race, but I think he thinks long term. If I can get the best result, if that's P2, I will go for it. And yeah, you already see Luke Mitchell is lightning fast, but yeah, Jack West is just a little bit faster, it seems, at least at this stage of the race.
Yep, and as we see Stephen Lexo now just behind on Josh Downard, and he's going to try and make a move down the inside perhaps, and Downard just is able to hold on to that as we go. Lap 10 of 13 of this race. There's going to be 3 laps to go at the line, and 3 laps for Stephen Lexo to make a move into 8th position. It's not been the best of weeks for Red Ven Racing, but I think a double points finish and a double top 10 finish, I'd say, would certainly sweeten the blow, and they still comfortably lead the team's championship. As that much I can tell you, as it's essentially well, I want to say a non-contest, but it is only 25 points back to 30 points even to Alpha Sierra Sim Racing, who are in 2nd position, the Dutch outfit. And Lexo still just stuck between a rock and a hard place a little bit here, to use a Brundleism. And, well, can't quite get past Josh Downard. Luke Mitchell is still hanging in firm to try and maybe pull a little bit of an upset and spoil the Kings Racing party. And Luke Mitchell, again, needs really a race win here, as he is 2nd in the championship. And with, of course, Ruven Mercedes having a pretty poor weekend by his standards, down in 4th. So, I mean, a lot of people would kill for a weekend where it's bad and they finish 4th. But with Ruven Mercedes down in 4th position, Luke Mitchell really wants to capitalise on Mercedes' misfortunes. And right now, you have to feel that Jack West just has the measure of him. As I do also want to point out that Remco Desert is actually looking to hold on to the podium here, and I'd be surprised if Ruven Mercedes was able to catch up to him, given the time left. Only 2 laps at the line. Remco Desert, probably my driver of the day in this one.
Yeah, he is doing an absolute, a really good job, and yeah, he doesn't have the pace on the front running too, but he does a decent job, and he is on for his 2nd podium of the season, if he can bring it home.
Yep. And, well, now we look at Stephen Lexo, still stuck behind I think it's the TOBE sports car of Josh Downard. And Jack Mayer, even. And, no, it is Josh Downard he's behind. Sorry, there's Szymon Frelik in my ear saying that it was Jack Mayer, but no, I was, for the first time ever, I was right the first time. And, well, as actually Menno has DNF'd down in 22nd position. He's called it a day, and Stephen Lexo still stuck behind. And Josh Downard clearly proving difficult to pass as we switch back to the battle for the lead. And maybe Luke Mitchell saving himself here for the final lap.
Yeah, of course, he could still go for it if he thinks he's got a run. That he, of course, can risk it a bit. Yeah. Remco is quite a bit behind already, so if he can, go for a half, option, then he could still get away with it without position loss. Looks to be, he looks pretty good into some of those corners, and Jack is pushing flat out to stay ahead as much on the hanger straight, but yeah, Jack West is still leading. Luke Mitchell is now gaining with the DRS, but it is not enough for now. So we nearly have got 1 lap to go.
Well, let's have a watch of this final lap then, as I think we'll just stay with this battle for the time being due to how close it is. As actually Stephen Lexo now finally tries to make a move down the inside of Josh Downard. Has he got the extra speed? He has. And finally Stephen Lexo is through. That being said, Josh Downard is going to come back at him. And Stephen Lexo still can't get through. But if we can, let's switch back to the battle for the lead and follow this along for the final lap of the race as Luke Mitchell trying to make it a race win. He hasn't won a great deal this season as he's picked up 1 race win actually for the second place in the championship and trying to make it the second race win of the season. Let's have a look then. Heading down into Brooklands, down the first straight here at Silverstone, the first of 2 DRS zones. Luke Mitchell tries to make the move around the outside. Has he got the speed down into Brooklands? Jack West holds on for the time being for Kings Racing. As I said, trying to make it the team's first double of the season, only the second double that we've seen in the championship so far. Scott Mitchell gets through for 5th position, but we want to see what's happening at the front of the order. Jack West holds on at the moment. 0.5 of a second might be just enough to stave off any moves down into Stowe. We'll have to wait and see. As through Cops, he is pretty solid. And now the question is, it's all about Maggots and Beckett. If he can get a good exit out of Maggots and Beckett, he should be able to go on and win this race. And notice the much wider line he takes through there as well.
It's all about the hanger straight now, and I think Jack West is far enough in front, so I don't think Luke Mitchell can do anything unless something dramatic happens. Let's see if we've got any other
final opportunity for Luke Mitchell, who's trying to just at least close that gap through Stowe to maybe think about a huge dive, but Jack West has held on. Jack West has just about held on to the race lead in this race, and after gaining 13 positions throughout the course of it, is going to make it a double. He's the Kings Racing's absolute saviour here. Jack West makes it 2 from 2 in Silverstone. The Welshman is going to win in Britain, and it's going to be a huge points haul as well for Jack West. And Luke Mitchell finishes second with Remco de Zee in an equally as impressive 3rd position, starting from pole. And as they all filter across the line, Stephen Lexo wasn't able to make a move on Josh Downard in the end, but one of the more entertaining race 2s that we've seen.
Yeah, that was a very good race 2 with still a bit of drama. 45 points at least for Jack West in his debut. You can't go better than this. Depending on the fastest lap points, you can't go better and you're doing it at your debut. That's where everybody is dreaming of. He just does this, so that's very impressive. While we're now waiting for the final drivers to finish, and then we will see the results. Jack West, Luke Mitchell, Remco de Zee, your top 3, with Ruven Machete having a good P4, Scott Mitchell P5, Tommy Koivunen a strong P6 again, Justin Ruyen in P7, Josh Downard P8. Josh Downard had a very good round here at Silverstone. Steve Lexo P9 and Jack Mayer finishes in P10. Then the second part is Alex Lehoux from the back of the grid to P11, so points for him. Jarno Hermans debut twice in the points. Tom Ely in P13, Massimiliano P14. And then Mikael Tomala in P15. Sadly, Piotr Adamczyk, Jerry van Bussel, Yusuf Bin Suhail, Ben Kosti, Aureli Gusson didn't score points. And then we've got, I believe, the third group. We've got Caitlin Penny, Hans van Putten, Crispina, Scott Morris, Christian Mena, Alessandro Valente, Lilian Hilaire, Dan Hayek, and Jessica Pelletier in our results.
And, well, we're going to have some interviews. And first of all, before we drag Ruven Machete in, we're going to look at the calendar. Next up is the Austrian Grand Prix on the 5th of July. But before that, we've got a lot of racing action up over the next 2 weeks. FS1, the next one up in the career ladder, starts later this week, and then obviously it's Super League Lights and Super League. And oh dear, I think I did it, didn't I? It's not Super League Lights anymore. It's Super Lights. There we go. And anyway, then it's Hungary after the Austrian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. Let's drag in Reuven Michede for at the moment the only interview that we've got queued up. But Reuven, by the team's high standards, not the most. Not the best result you've had all season, and certainly a big difference to Canada, but you must at least be encouraged by the fact that your bad week still yields a great deal of points.
I am not happy with it because I know that Luke Mitchell is now closer in the championship, and also Jack should be closer, but I don't know. And as a team, team was again pretty unlucky as in the last 6 rounds. So I don't know how it looks with the team standings, but I think it should be now in the Drivers' Championship and in the Constructors' Championship very close. So not the weekend I hope for.
And well, you're being encouraged by the fact that at least by the information I am looking at, you at least after round 1 had the lead of the championship. So I'm sure just looking to get your head back down and try and do some fireworks into Austria.
Silverstone, as I said in the last time interview, that Silverstone is not a track where I'm good at. So I think you said P7, P4, I can be happy with it. For said that I was last year a second slower than my teammates. So in Austria, I don't know. I think I will do the same amount of practice because I'm still confident that I will get back up in Austria. But the thing is that I will be not in Hungary and there because I am in holiday. So I will be missing 1 round. So that will hurt me quite a lot. But we will see.
Yeah, I want to say one thing is that don't forget you're as good as your worst rounds, and I would say this was not a perfect round for you, but I think even in a bad round for you, you were, I think, you go away with quite a bit of points, and I think you had a bit of luck there with the incident in race 1. I believe you had a lot of damage, but not front wing or rear wing loss. So I would say not ideal, but also not bad. So we will see you back soon.
Well, thank you very much, Reuven, and well, hopefully we'll speak to Reuven Michede after a better race next time out. Now, I think the next thing we need to do is drag the Kings Racing boys into the call, and we'll start with Jack. And I mean, you can't ask for much of a better debut, can you?
No, not really. It was really, really good, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it, but like when I was preparing for this race, the pace was really good. So, I just took that into the race, did quite a good lap in qualifying, and the first way the race was really, really good. Managed to pull out a gap to Scott and win that quite comfortably. And race 2 was really, really fun. Had a good battle with Luke Mitchell, and on the final lap, and it was really good fun getting through the pack as well for a double win, which I didn't expect at all. So I'm really happy with this event.
And well, the question that I think everyone wants to know is, do you have a full-time seat lined up?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. And anything more you could tell us about that? Oh, he's gone on deafened conveniently. Anything more you could tell us about that?
Yeah, I guess you'll have to wait and see who it is with.
Oh, right. So he's teasing us. But anyway, Scott, you must be pretty encouraged that you've got some. The team as a whole have got some good points on the board heading into the second half of the season.
Yep, it's been a pretty good evening. Who would have thought that our fortunes would be totally transformed just by Jack changing his surname?
And as Jack Nichols is active in the YouTube chat, I think that might be even more testament to the skill of being able to type, keep up 2 personas, and win at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, obviously Jack's done an amazing job this evening. I'm not going to take the mick out of Nichols because Jack's wiped the floor with me this evening as well, and I did a load of testing. So this is the first event probably since Imola. I've done probably the most prep for this race than I have for any race since Imola, just purely because I love driving this track. So it's just been good fun, and I've done better than the last few races, and I've absolutely been demolished by my teammate on his debut. So yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet evening.
And well, thank you very much, boys, anyway, for joining us, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon as well. And that was the King's Racing crew, and well, what a good result it was for them. As let's drag in Luke Mitchell, and Luke, encouraging results actually, considering the rival you had in the championship didn't have the best of weekends. And, well, you must be encouraged by that.
Yeah, it was a very strong race too. I could see Jack coming behind me every time I made a move, and I was just hoping that he was going to get caught behind someone. But he just seemed to, every time I made a move, he was there within a corner back behind me again. So he just had too much pace in race two. I was quite lucky in race one to get fifth. I had quite severe damage after the Stephen and Alex collision.
And, well, I'm looking at the standings, as you haven't quite got the championship lead this round, but with Reuven set to miss a round in, I believe he said, Hungary, maybe you think that you can get down the deficit and maybe do some put on a good run towards the end of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've closed the gap slightly today. I'm not sure by how much, but closing it, knowing that Reuven's going to miss a round. I think I might miss one towards the end of the season, but hopefully not, and we can sort of just keep going. But it was good that we got some good points for the team as well when Red Ven struggled.
So thank you very much, Luke, and we'll hopefully speak to you again soon.
Cheers.
That was Luke Mitchell for Alpha Sierra Sim Racing. We've got a couple more to pull in. Let's pull in Alex Laho. And Alex, unfortunately, it seems to be becoming a little bit of an unfortunate theme with you, unfortunately, having incidents that cost you good positions. But what happened this time?
Hi Tom, hi Menno. Okay, I didn't expect to get here, but so basically what happened in race 1 was Steven had a really bad exit off cops. I took the opportunity, the car was side to side, but then through Beckett's I surely got hit by understeer. I was on the curb, tried to avoid contact, and then that was it. In the spin, I managed to roll the car back, but then I think I've stopped way too early because I was on the track and I wanted to try to roll the car outside of the track, but I didn't know if someone was on the outside. So I chose to send the brakes, but then Jerry, I believe, got his race terminated, and Reuven was a collateral damage.
And of course, you'll be very encouraged by the fact that you've still got a reasonable run of form going, and perhaps you think that with the coming tracks you can turn the fortunes around.
I probably have no idea. Apart from improving my patience, I don't really have a solution now. I'm just pissed off at the fact that I messed up what would have been a great race.
And well, commiserations anyway, and thank you for talking to us. And we'll speak to you hopefully after a better time out next week.
Thank you, Tom. I probably won't be here next week because I'm probably going to get reported and I will have a race ban. So.
All right. Well,
so yeah, I'm not expecting to be coming back anytime soon.
We'll speak to you next time you race anyway. And that was Alex Laho for a servo competition. And who haven't we spoken to yet? We haven't
for Rowan GP. You mean? Yeah, Rowan GP. Right?
There was servo competition, I believe. Alex.
No,
Laho.
that was Grison and Hillier.
Oh right, I apologise. That was my bad. But we'll get Rodrigo Carvalho in, and Rodrigo, you were quite vocal in YouTube chat about the various incidents into Maggotts and Beckett's. What were your take on the incidents?
First of all, why I'm here. Second of all, about the Maggotts and Beckett's is a simple thing. Is a corner that the chance to happen a big mistake is big because first of all, Silverstone is a track that we do not use too many downforce. We try to make the mechanical grip of the car. So Zeiss is a corner that have so high speed and the probability to have a crash because someone can understeer and take off a bit of the line can happen. And that happened with Leroux that you see in the race 2 and with Valente in the race, sorry, Leroux in the race 1 and Valente in the race 2. So that's why I talk. Why people still try to talk to overtake in these parts of the track size. After a little bit, have a DRS zone that can really have a chance to overtake clean and do not have big issues and problems like have a DNF and lost a lot of points.
Well, thank you for joining us anyway, Rodrigo. I'm afraid we're on a clock, so we're going to have to bid you farewell. And thank you very much. Anyway, I think we'll take that opportunity to call the stream, as unfortunately we can't interview everyone. We've got a lot of interviews today, so we'll round it out. So thank you very much for joining me, Menno. And well, we would like to thank you.
Halfway, Tom. So the first half has been flew past, and we already had a lot of drama, but also a lot of new winners. I think it was a very interesting first half of the season, and now now we start the final half of the season, and now everything will be maybe even more interesting because now the championship battle will be more intense, coming better, and with somebody like Jack West on the grid for future rounds, it's something we need to look what he can do as well.
Very well, thank you all very much for watching this stream, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. The FS2 crew, of course, the FS1 crew will be back a little bit later this week. But I've been Tom Dillon, he's been Menno Klont, and thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Good night.